Slideshows, I think I emailed to you because I didn't think I had access.
Oh, okay, let's go ahead and.
Sorry.
That's-
I know.
I put my back back there. So.
Oh, here.
That one, and then the other one was sent, I think, Wednesday night. Well, wait, no, I apologize, Sunday. Today, it was for Monday. So it was sent Sunday night. I'm sorry, now that I know, I'll put them in the,
No, that's
Right,
okay.
so you don't-
Or send them directly to info.
oh, is that,
Email there.
okay.
So, the other one was sent Thursday night.
Yes. It should say intensive.
Yeah, there it is right here. There's lots of stuff. Do you want me to have these printed out?
No, it's mainly, I think it's
Just, you have like 3 handouts.
is it for showings? No. That must be the other one.
Open house.
Open house? Oh, yeah.
Last 3. I sent it to, Rena, so if there's any handouts, she'll,
Unless they
Open
wanted
now.
they might want a copy of it, huh? Maybe.
Yeah.
It doesn't hurt. The more information, the better.
to finish the book, you know.
Yes.
So. I'm just going to. No, download. Save. Okay, there was just one on there, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh. And then these are the handout. This one is a PowerPoint.
Do you guys want showing homes
Oh,
or
wait.
open house?
You said it was 17 was showings at open houses, so we'll put that in there. That's the one we're doing first, right?
Yeah.
Downloads. House. Open house slideshow, or is there one more? Where is best practice? Oh. Yeah, okay. In there. So which one are you starting with?
Do you guys have a preference?
No.
Doesn't matter.
Okay, we'll go with showing homes then.
Okay, and. I think I would like to. I think I would like to share the screen, so let's do that.
You are a master at this.
Yeah, pretty
Yeah.
impressive.
I
I'll tell you.
Fast too.
Not
I'm
really.
like, man, what the heck she did?
yes.
Okay. I just opened it again, so. All right, so then we're gonna go. Oh, from beginning, okay. Here's this,
Thank you so much. Right. Okay, practices for showing home. Have either anybody shown homes yet? Yeah, Phil, have you had the privilege of showing homes?
And an open house
Uh-huh.
or, yeah,
Either way.
I've been with Tanya
Yeah, nice,
twice now.
nice. And,
Open house.
oh, good, twice, okay. And you too, Adam, I know, yeah. Okay, awesome. Well, it's important to know that successful home showings are intentional, strategic, and client focused. Make sure. Oh, there it is. Go back. Look if I hit it.
Because if you click, it'll
Yeah.
push escape.
oh, here, I think you might use this. Yeah, there's a menu at the bottom.
There you go.
Right here.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. Okay. Top producers create experiences and not just open doors. Strong showings build trust, and confidence. So before a showing, or before the showing, there's a way for me to
I
get this
know.
off too.
Maybe if you drag it, will allow you. Yeah, I think you can. Right there, when it gets to the cross.
Yeah, oh, there we go. You start on the
Yeah.
bottom. Okay, there we go. That's better.
There we go.
Okay. So prepare before you show. Preparation is where professionals separate themselves. You want to, when you have a listing and you have your showings together, you want to read the comments. Underneath the bottom, there's professional comments, agent comments that nobody else gets to see except realtors. And you want to make sure you make yourself familiar with those comments because there's special instructions for you. Sometimes it's maybe a dog that they don't want out, or a cat, or just special instructions to the home. You want to make sure that you're familiar with those. And then you want to confirm all of your appointments in advance. You don't want to be on the fly with that, you know. And plan to show your best homes first because it creates a momentum for the day. If you show your worst homes first, you start off on a bad foot. Yeah, absolutely. And I would schedule 30 to 45 minutes per home because you want to give your clients time to absorb what they're seeing and reflect. Do not plan to show more than 5 homes per day because then it really does become a job. And 5 at 30 minutes is 2.5 hours already. So I would definitely try to keep it to 5. Of course, there are circumstances where you give and take on this, depending on your client's availability or different things like that, or the market too. The market can change things too. If it's a very competitive market, then you'll want to change things as they come. Study the properties, the price histories in the areas, and the HOAs, what's going on locally. You'll want to know those things, though you have to be careful at giving that information in community because you get into fair housing if you say things such as, or steering, if you say things such as, this is a great neighborhood to raise your kids. That's steering. So you want to be careful what you say, but you do want to know in case they ask you, where's the nearest school? Well, you want to know it's, a half a block down or whatever. And then it's good to set expectations for buyers regarding time, conduct, and goals. And the reason for this is if they're a half hour late, it does put the whole thing back a half hour and it puts pressure on. If you're in a competition for a home and you show up to your showing an hour late, well, you don't really have the blessing of the seller or the agent because you look unprofessional showing up late. And really it was just because you didn't set boundaries in the beginning or expectations. You also want to review with your buyers that it is still somebody else's home that they're looking at, so you want to respect the seller's home. One thing that's very important is the homes typically have cameras now, so I always want to let my buyers know. You don't want to talk about sensitive information in the home because you never know who's listening or seeing you. You don't want to touch personal items in the home. And you always want to return the property into the condition in which you've seen it. Turn off the lights and lock the doors unless the instructions say otherwise. One of the big things that we run into as realtors is that your clients want to use the restroom.
Yeah.
That is so
Oh my
sad, especially when it's little junior who's 2 years old who wants to use the restroom. So that goes with prepping your clients to let them know that it is somebody else's home, and it's beforehand, right? Before the restroom becomes a thing. You want to, that's part of prepping your clients to let them know, look, we're going to be looking at homes for about 2.5 hours. So you want to make sure you use the bathroom and get your drinks and do those things beforehand. And also we can take a break if you need to. We can stop at a local Starbucks. You'll know because you'll hopefully build some kind of relationship with your clients that you'll kind of know a little bit of their needs, and you'll be able to prep them a little bit more. But it is important to have that conversation because it's notorious. I think almost every showing I've gone on, somebody has to use the restroom, and it puts us in a really tough spot. I've actually had to say, I did see a Starbucks like right on this corner. Let's go ahead and go there.
Now, do some of them allow you, like they'll tell you can't use the restroom when you're there? Does any of them do that, or you just automatically?
Yeah, that's a great question. Yeah,
Just assume no.
just assume no.
No.
Yeah, because it's usually not
Respect their
something
space.
that's in the
Yeah.
agent remarks that they're not typically going to put down there, oh, feel free to use the restroom.
Right?
Correct.
So it's usually kind of not said. But it is something that we often run into a lot. So if you have a listing, I mean, maybe a good practice would be to let your clients know if you're dealing with a listing that it does happen. And sometimes there's just no way around it. So just be prepared, keep no valuables in the bathroom,
Sure.
don't keep medicine in the,
Mhm.
and those should be practices anyway, because people are in your home. You shouldn't have, especially high prescription medicine in your medicine cabinet. So I would have that conversation because sometimes buyers are in it and they do use the restroom, and it just, so you want to prepare your sellers that way, and then prepare your buyers not to try to avoid that. But it is a big thing in real estate. I think every agent has gone through that. So good luck with that. I know you'll do great. Best showing practices is arrive 10 to 15 minutes early and turn on the lights and open the blinds where permitted. So there's a little bit, if you're showing a home that you have time to prepare the home before somebody comes in, then of course you want to open it up and open the blinds, give it its best presence. Oftentimes we have 5 homes that we have on a list and we don't really have that time. So you just do your best as you're walking through to kind of open and let the light in and open doors, turn on lights so that they can see it in its fullest manner. But when given the chance, you definitely want to open it up because it does, that kind of goes into the open house lessons that we'll see how the senses and them being able to absorb the space really makes a big difference because they can see themselves in there. If you're rushing through, showing them the home, they're going to feel that and not really see themselves there. So you introduce the home with concentrate a lot on the layout and the highlights. By the time you show a home, you should be able to know sort of what your clients are looking for, what their highs are on the list, because you would have done kind of a buyer pre-listing. I think we covered that yesterday, where you get the ideas of what's important to them. So those are the very reasons you found these 5 homes. So you're going to know those highlights. So you're going to be able to show those, even if you haven't seen the home before. You already know from the MLS listing that it has a bigger 2-car garage, or whatever be the case, if a garage was important to them. You're going to be able to highlight those things, and that's what you should do. What you shouldn't do is be negative about anything, because you never know what's positive to them or what they're going to overlook. So everything that we're showing has to be positive or neutral. Even if they're like, look at this mold here. You know, we're not mold experts. We
Yeah.
don't know. So we just really stay neutral in them and speak as a professional and let them know, oh, yes, absolutely. Let's look at, you know, the whole house and what it encompasses. And then we'll revisit this because there are experts in the field that can let you know how big of a deal this is. Sometimes it's minor and sometimes it's major. But what we don't want to do is just count it out and say, oh, yes, this is the worst home ever. Because in fact, it may be the best home to them.
Right.
And usually everything is fixable. Okay, so, and it goes to the next thing, do not provide advice outside of your scope. This is so important, so important, because oftentimes they think we know a little bit or a lot about everything, and we can't give advice, like, for example, the mold situation that I had just mentioned, we don't know. We're not an expert. So if we try to give advice on that expert, then if we try to give advice on that as an expert, then they hold us to it. If we say it's not a big deal, then, oh, it wasn't a big deal. And then my realtor said it wasn't a big deal. And then it becomes a bigger deal. But it goes in everything. It goes with construction. It goes with tax advice. It goes with how I should hold title. It goes with everything. The best thing, it even goes with lending. We were talking about lending yesterday. And it goes with lending because so many times you'll say something that you think that happened from a last transaction and it's different for these
Situation.
specific buyers. Absolutely. So you always want to get that expert on the phone, whether it be the lender, the inspector, the electrician. And then we just, we say, I'll provide you with somebody. We guide and not pressure. So, highlight features, not decisions. Let your clients make the decisions and have the time to speak of those decisions and come to their own decision at whether or not it's going to benefit them and their family. Allow emotional connections to develop with your clients. Oftentimes they're not seeing it by themselves. They're seeing it with a spouse or a friend. And so you want to let them connect in the home because ultimately they're going to be the ones moving forward. And if we pressure them because of what we think, then it can break trust. It happens a lot, honestly, because we do get emotionally invested. Our clients, especially as buyers, become our best friends in the 3 months that we're looking or whatever it takes, the time frame that it takes. You're talking all the time. You're going and looking at homes, sometimes having lunch dates, that they become your best friends. And then you also know what they want, and you are the expert and you see things. So you tend to have an opinion about what's good for them and not good for them. But we have to take a few steps back and realize that they're the best decision makers for themselves, and that we're just there to kind of let them bounce it off of us and make their own decisions. Okay, and we did talk about this a little bit, but you do want to manage your time and flow. You start with the strongest properties first because that's just going to get the energy positive, and they're going to look forward to the next showings. Avoid rushing or lingering too long. So you don't. We also talked about that. You don't want to rush them through the properties, but you also don't want to sit too long and let them linger. There's that fine balance because you do want them to find themselves at home there, picture themselves and look at the counters and kind of find themselves there. But you don't want them to linger too much, especially if it's not a vacant home.
We're not hanging out.
Yeah.
Take a look around and wrap it up.
Yep, absolutely. So you do want to recap on the homes. Again, watch out for video cameras. I would not recap on the home I would step outside to do so. Probably closer to the cars because most places have the Ring camera and those kind of things. You definitely don't want to discuss the home on the property or near it because of those things. But you do want to recap. And I do have a comparison worksheet because what I do is I recap outside, and I have those for you guys And I have the clients rate the home while we're there or right before we leave, because the properties tend to mesh together, where they're like, what home was that? That had the nice kitchen.
Oh.
And then they start putting it together. So I do encourage them to take pictures, avoid the personal things in the home, but take pictures of what they like. And then also we rate it at the end. And then I, on a 1 to 10, where would this home fit? And that way, when we go back to it, they remember this was the 10. And I can't say enough that even when clients rate an 8 on a home and a 10 on another home, sometimes they put the offer in on that 8 home. They go home and they talk about it, and then the offer, you get that phone call, we want to do the number 8 home. And as an agent, you're like, oh, you thought for sure it was going to be the 10. So that's why we have to keep our feelings and emotions out of it, because so often it's another home.
A lot of times too, it's like, people see what they can do with it.
Absolutely.
See,
The
the
potential there.
potential in it.
Mhm.
That's what it is.
Absolutely. And they go home and talk about it. And, hubby said, oh, that's not a big deal. The wife saw it a different way, or the friend or whoever you're moving in with sees it a different way. And then they say, that's not a big deal. And then they talk about it. Or they drove away and they saw a neighbor on the corner that maybe wasn't favorable to the 10 home. And now the 8 home's more favorable. There are so many things that go into the thought process of home buying that we don't know. So we have to keep our emotions out of it especially when they call and say, we're going with the 8. And you're like, wait a minute, we were all for the 10. So yeah, but that's why this is important, because you can reflect. And when they do go with that 8 home, you can look and say, okay, I do see that you did like the kitchen and you did like the bathroom. So these are great things, so I can see why you're moving forward with that, rather than in your mind just saying, I have no clue. Okay.
What are you doing?
Right.
Just for us.
That's all
Or for them.
for them.
Oh, you give it to them.
So what I typically do is, I'll have
We do the top portion?
you can, yes, I think,
Okay.
yeah, absolutely do the top portion and kind of make it as easy or as friendly, and often, and
Okay.
also it would depend on the clients. If they're well versed and they kind of take control, then absolutely let them fill it out. If they're the type that you're kind of hand holding through, then I would jot it down for them. I think it's circumstantial, honestly.
Okay.
But I do think it's very important to have something like this. So what I do is I'll have the MLS printouts, and then I'll have this, because this is a one shot at a glance. And then on the MLS printouts, that's your information to when they're asking questions. What's the square footage of this? What year was this built in? You'll know. And then here you can fill it out, and then you'll at a glance know what they like. And make this your own. Like maybe you'll want the MLS printouts too, so you can reflect, but maybe this will be your snapshot where you already have it filled out and you have those things that they're always going to ask. Like, what's this? What's the square footage? Those are typical.
That threw me off because
Then you're not looking to
Yeah.
find it on the MLS. You have it at a glance on your paper. That would not be a bad idea. Okay.
And how do you go in professional with each of your MLS sheets? Do you have it on a clipboard? Or do you
See-
go in with in a notebook, or what do you do to look professional
Great
instead of just in your hand?
question. Great question. You have to make it your own and what works for you. People will make fun of realtors with clipboards. I hear that a lot, but I am that realtor. I'm the realtor with a clipboard because that's how I keep it together. We do have
if you
folders.
give them that.
Yeah,
Do you keep the MLS handout or do you give it to them?
I
To
do
read.
both. So again, it depends on my audience. It depends on my clients.
Sure.
If I have clients that are thrive on information, then I have printout for them because I know that they want that information. If I have clients get overwhelmed with information, I do not give that to them
Oh, okay.
because I already know they're going to be overwhelmed. So they're more the type of clients that just questions and answers. So then I'll just have those answers for them. Right. So it's client-based, I think, and also it's what works for you. So like I said, I am that client, I'm that agent that has a clipboard because I fumble with stuff. Because remember, you're going to have your Supra keys. You have to remember where that is. You have to have a place to put your Supra, the the little clip in, you have to know where everything's at, meanwhile look professional. So you kind of have to have a system that works, and the clipboard works very well for me. It holds my pen, I can jot everything down. And then also I think it might be in here and not on here. Let's see if I have a clip for it. Ask what they liked, concerns, gauge level of interest. So we spoke of that. I have carrying essential tools. That's the next thing. I actually have a bag. Now, I always don't take the bag in. Again, it depends on the clients, but I do have a prepared bag in my car where I have a tape measure. I have a flashlight, even though our phones have it. I still have a flashlight in there. I have something that will measure the square footage. I have different things, scissors, those kind of things in there because if we need it, we can pull it out. I think mostly, always tape measure and flashlight. We can use our cell phones in an emergency, but from a professional standpoint, it's good to have a good flashlight. You look prepared. So the final thought is great realtors create experiences. They manage risk and guide confident decisions. Use this system for every showing. So create a system. Create a system. It may not be a perfect system, but it's a system that, and as you get more into showing, you'll perfect that system. Okay, you'll make it work for you because there is no telltale of exactly how things should go because it's circumstantial to your clients and to what works for you. So just create a system and then perfect it. Thank you. Thank you. Any questions on that?
We have is the mastery the next one?
Yes, open house master.
Okay, if you want to follow along, Rena printed out oh, I think there's a packet for each of you. There is, okay, so both PowerPoints are printed for you. Here you go. I'll get for each of you. There you go for today. There you go. And I don't know, we got one extra.
All right.
Wanted to follow along, but. And then here's today's homework. Sheet. There you go, sir.
Bobby, was there anything you wanted to add to showing home practices?
No, I think you did a fabulous job. You covered things that I forgot.
We always need the refresher, right?
Yeah.
It's like, but yes, I am that clipboard agent. I see those.
You know, Home Depot has, we have one in there if you ever wanted to borrow it. It's one of those laser pointers. You point it at the wall, it'll tell you the distance.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, that's handy too.
Yeah, it is because
It's that expensive, but
yeah, it is handy.
Yeah.
The notorious question is, will the sofa fit here? Or where will my refrigerator fit here?
Mhm.
So those are the things that
Yeah.
you'll want that tape measure for or
Correct.
the thing. Yeah.
Okay, so Monica will start in about 7 minutes. I think
Uh-oh.
we can probably get through your mastery.
Yep.
And
We'll have
just,
pitfalls. I'll just,
let me go ahead. Queued up here.
so open houses, you guys are pretty familiar with. I think everybody's done an open house, so we'll just kind of run through it for sake of time, but there is more information here if you ever want to reflect back.
So we're still in 17, so I'll go ahead and close that one, and then we'll open this one. And if we go over a couple of minutes, I think she'll be okay. You know, but let me go ahead and share screen again. Okay.
And if I go too fast, just slow me down or ask questions. Okay, guys?
Oh, here we go. All right, so this is the one you.
That's the old
want.
one.
Yeah,
Mhm.
okay.
Open house.
And we're already sharing, so put it on slideshow. There you go.
Nice, thank you. Okay, open house mastery. How to create open houses that convert, attract, and build your brand. So the purpose of an open house, it's a strategic marketing event designed to generate clients, impress sellers, and build your reputation as a neighborhood expert. Okay, what we don't want to do is have an open house and just sit there and wait for buyers to walk in, because then it's a failed open house from the beginning. Marketing rule of thumb: begin marketing 7 to 10 days before the open house for maximum exposure and audience. The minimum is 3 days, but with only 3 days, you haven't maximized the work that you're going to put in for an open house. The best practice is 7 to 10 days and 10 to 14 days for luxury listings. 7 to 10 days before, what you're doing is getting on people's radar. You're adding the open house to the MLS, to Zillow, to Realtor.com. It'll syndicate through there. You're putting out your social medias, all of that, and you're going to really just put a lot of marketing into the fact that you're going to be there and you want people to show up. Email your database, let them know. There is an open house a person that is an expert in open houses, and what he does is he makes his own salsa because he also loves to cook. So he makes his own salsa. So every time he has an open house, he has tons of people come because they come just for his salsa. So he learned how to create an event. So none of his open houses are ever dull. So if you can find something that works for you, it's double, because now your client, a salsa, he'll have chips and salsa, and hopefully outside somewhere, right? Like kind of an outside gathering, but he really has mastered the idea that he has a following for open houses because they want to know when the next time they can get that salsa. You'll also want 5 days before to dominate the neighborhood. And the way that you're going to do that is by dropping off, door hangers, maybe those little gifts in the radius of your open house. However it is, get to know the neighborhood, and personally invite the neighbors, because that does double. Not only does it bring attention to your open house, but it also gets you potential new clients. Everybody wants their friend to move into that house, right? They're going to be your best advocate, and you have a really good chance that they're going to bring in the buyer, and you want to be the agent to represent that buyer, right? You can also invite your preferred lender to be there with you. Okay, here we go. Because you also want your preferred lender to be there to answer questions as well about how much ultimately people just want to know, how much does this cost as they're walking through? What will my payment be? And you'll want an expert in the field to be there with you. So 3 days, I think I went ahead with the slideshows, but 3 days before is your reminder phase. You also go back on social media and do those things to remind your sphere of influence that this is happening, or whoever's on your social media account. The day before, what you're going to want to create is a fear of missing out. So you're going to want to create FOMO to everybody that knows that you're having an open house, that they're going to want to go. So that should be your plan the day before. And the day of execution, right? I feel like this is way ahead.
No, it's just the one right before.
Is it?
Go back one, you'll catch it.
Oh, look at, well, thank you. You are paying attention. So the day before is when you create urgency, and you want to create the idea that your people who you've reached out to are going to miss out. On the day of is the execution phase. And this is where you're going to execute your open house, and you're gonna start 30 to 60 minutes before your open house is going to open. And the reason why it's important to at least give yourself an hour-ish is because you're going to have to put out those signs. You're gonna wanna be prepared. You wanna, the ways to prepare are, yeah, that's odd. Okay. That's your signs. I don't know why that's right there, but when you're starting 30 to 60 minutes before you do start with signs, this is how you put out your signs, is starting in major intersections and then working your way to the house. Use clear directional arrows. You can add branded balloons or flags for visibility and guide traffic intentionally to your property. One of the pro tips that I use is on my signs, I will actually put the address, because if you've ever followed signs to an open house, sometimes it's hard.
It is.
You can think that you did it right, but being in the minds of the people that are actually coming, it may not be right. It may not look right. A sign might have got flipped.
What house is it?
Yes. So I actually, not on all the signs, but on the better signs, I will put the actual address. And the way that I do that is I have dry erase tape that I write on there so I could reuse the signs. But what I found that works even better than dry erase, because that can get smudged, is I actually, in the area where I have it on white tape, I just print it in big printable paper, and I tape it on there. And it works. That way they can be reused, because you don't want to ruin your signs, because it would get expensive. But I find that actually having the address I think it is. I do, because I appreciate that when I can just look at the address and put it in my Google and go to it. You can also do a sign writer, of course, too. Especially, it depends on the market, but if it's a luxury home, I definitely would want to represent it in a luxury style. And that probably wouldn't be taping an address to a sign. Money in, yeah. First impressions of your open house matter. You want to always engage the five senses: sight, smell, sound, touch, and taste. The way that we do sight is making sure that the home, especially if it's not vacant, is decluttered. You want to have the sellers put all personal items away, all medicine, anything expensive away. And you want to have personal pictures off the wall. You want to create the atmosphere so that way when the potential buyers come in, they can see themselves there. You don't want a home that shows the sellers, because they can't envision themselves. Exactly. So if it's a vacant home for site, you would then maybe put some things that are a little homey, put a couple towels, maybe you make it a little bit homey so that. Okay, smell, emotion, and okay, so let's not really go through this too much. Sight, smell, sound, touch, and taste. You can kind of know what those are. You might want to set some music for sound. And then buyers may forget the details, but they remember how they feel in a home. So that's what you want to create, is how somebody might feel. Leverage a lender and a partner. We did speak of that, how important that is. It also gives you merit when you're in a home, and like Scott spoke of yesterday, he makes you look professional, and you make him. And it's a team that you create. You're going to say things like, "This is the best lender. He knows how to close deals." If you get into a loan with him, it's going to happen for you. And then he likewise is going to say things such as, "This is the best realtor. She knows what she's doing." Those kind of things. So it creates that without you having to be your best cheerleader. They're your cheerleader.
Yeah.
Use themed open houses, community spotlights, twilight events, or small giveaways to make your open house memorable. Also, your giveaways, you use them as leverage to capture lead generations. So raffles are a good thing, because that's something that you're gonna have to it's organically, getting their information, yes, then they might get something in return. So that's always a good thing to have during an open house. And you do want to follow up with them right away because they remember you, with it. So maybe the next day, no more than 48 hours, you give them that courtesy. Thanks for coming. I really enjoyed meeting you. And if you can, take a little note at who they were, so that way you can make it personal. I remembered meeting you and your dog Fluffy, or however they showed up. You want to make that relatable. The most important is that you develop your signature style. This helps your clients to build anticipation for your open houses and want to visit you. Make it who you are. If you're high energy, create a high energy open house. If you're luxury focused, create the luxury. However it is and what speaks to you, add your personal touches. And this is the post follow-up. That is, send your thank you messages within 24 hours. Provide valuable based follow-up, not pressure, and add visitors to your drip campaign. That way you can always stay in mind. An open house is an experience. When done right, people remember you long after they forget the home. And that's how you get clients out of an open house.
Great.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, so that we get caught up because Chastity also has another presentation about common pitfalls in real estate, which I think is a very important topic. So we have Monica now. She's going to talk about weekly routine builder, and then what if you could stay and at 10:15 do your common pitfalls?
Sure.
Would that be all right?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right, so let's go ahead. We'll get Monica
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. On the thing there.